A new development in the ongoing battle between Superintendent Dr. Demetrus Liggins and the Fayette County School Board.
Liggins' attorney, Amos Jones, announced this afternoon that they are filing a claim against the board, and he believes they violated open meetings laws the day Liggins was placed on administrative leave.
But earlier this morning, Amos sent another notice demanding that the superintendent be reinstated to his post. WKYT's Alyssa Williams talking with the lawyers involved to learn more in our top story at 6.
Friday morning, Amos Jones, who's representing Fayette County Superintendent Dr. Demetrus Liggins, announced Liggins would be fighting for his job as superintendent. While the school board has not said why Liggins is on leave, Jones claims the board is breaching Liggins' contract by putting him on leave without due process and bringing in an acting superintendent.
We can't do word salad. We have the law, the contract, and the actualities. And if they think that he's dismissed, boy, the board is in much bigger trouble than we knew this morning.
And just hours after Jones dropped a release saying that Liggins was looking to be reinstated, around 2 p.m., he released that they were filing a complaint against the school board, saying that they violated the Open Meetings Act on June 10th.
We argue the statute says voids those actions. And there is a required rescission of the resulting board actions from that illegally closed meeting, done in dark and done in dirt, that we believe the statute requires to be undone. And the statute gives them 3 business days. We're counting. By close of business Wednesday, the board had better reverse this.
Hannah Wilson is representing FCPS employee and state representative Adriel Camuel. Wilson claims Liggins attempted to silence Camuel from speaking out against him. She says Liggins is painting himself as a victim when the actual victims are the students, staff, and community members connected to the district's financial fallout.
And those are the people who are being left to deal with the wreckage while he, polishes his image and seemingly tries to curry sympathy from a public that, as far as I can tell, overwhelmingly wants to see him go.
Board Chair Tyler Murphy did release a statement to us regarding Jones's claim the board breached Liggins' contract, saying the actions taken by the board and the board's leave notice to Liggins were legal and appropriate. In Lexington, Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
And Jones says if the board does not respond to his complaint within 3 days, it will be forwarded to the Attorney General's office and to the Fayette Circuit Court.